Good morning, everybody. Like Santa said, I'm Councilwoman Jeanette Martinez. I represent the City of Fort Worth on District 11. It's so great to see a lot of familiar faces, and I'll get to know a few new ones. So, good morning, everybody. By the way, good to see you. So, District 11 is called the Horseshoe District. So those that aren't familiar with District 11 and the boundaries, there's, I guess, three sectors. There's the south sector where in south side, the most southwest corner is McCartan Seminary. So if you're familiar with the Rosemont neighborhood, Worth Heights, JMSL, a piece of Carter Park, so LeGrand Plaza's in there in the south. And then it follows the railroad tracks of Morningside. So you go, of course, Hemphill to Morningside, and you see the railroad tracks. So it's that sliver. It follows 35 all the way up to Greenway, if anybody's familiar with the Greenway neighborhood. It's a historic black community. And then it crosses over to the northeast side of Fort Worth. So it goes all the way up to Bonnie Brae, so Long Street. And so that's all of Riverside, Oakhurst neighborhood. And then it goes down to the east. It follows 820 for the most part. It cuts in some parts of District 5. And it goes all the way as far south as Mansfield Highway and 820. And then Wichita on the west end over here. And so that's Echo Lake, Fairhaven, Edgewood, if anybody's familiar. Meadowbrook also is a big old neighborhood in the district. But I've been in office a little over a year, really focused on the top three priorities that I really ran on, public safety, economic development, and infrastructure and transportation. So a lot of these, when redistricting occurred, there were a lot of neighborhoods that were pulled from the surrounding existing districts, District 8, District 9, District 4, District 5. And so, you know, a lot of these communities have been underserved. You know, just they felt like they weren't very well represented. Not, you know, trying to say anything about the electeds that are currently in office, but you know, I really make an effort to go to as many neighborhood association meetings as possible to really talk to the constituents to see what issues they're having. A lot of them are public safety, so we're addressing their public safety concerns. For example, Meadowbrook is off of Lancaster. Lancaster has a public improvement district, and those go in when there's public safety concerns. And for a long time, this is the only PID that is run by a private security company. And so all the other PIDs in the city, like the Stockyards, like West 7, like downtown, and Camp Bowie, Las Vegas Trail, those are Fort Worth Fort Worth PD runs those, and so we're going to make that change at the beginning of the budget year, so hopefully that will help improve the issues that are happening on Lancaster. I don't know if anybody is familiar, you know, there's a lot of, you know, drug, prostitution, and different issues like that, and so I'm hoping that that will really make a change, because the private security company that's there right now, they're limited on what they can do on trespassing and issues like that, so I really feel like this is really going to make a difference there. And, you know, just speaking with the community, there's a lot of really easy fixes to a lot of the issues that are having. We put in street lights, we put in stop signs, speed cushions in areas where people are speeding. And so it's really great working with them and just, you know, talking to them afterwards, and you know, they're just very grateful to just somebody that answered the phone and listened to their concern and was able to implement it pretty quickly. And so the budget year is coming up. We are working on that. They are talking about no new revenue rate. You know, it just, you know, it's a plug that the county is doing the same, just because, you know, I don't know if a lot of you know that I also work for Commissioner Roy Charles Brooks, who's retiring at the end of the year, and so I've been with him for 12 years, so just really understand local government and really have had worked on budgets for a long time, and just things that we've done in the area. We're looking at bringing back the old Seminary South Library to the Worth Heights neighborhood. I really feel like that's gonna be able to happen pretty soon. I'm just waiting for our city manager to make that final, I guess, there's decisions that need to be made in Old City Hall. So we don't know if the historical center that's in Worth Heights would go to Old City Hall or maybe to the new library that's going to be in downtown Fort Worth. I do want to make a plug that it is back to school tax-free weekend. I do have I don't know if it's a little bit more about me. I'm married and have 3 children. One of those is school age, so I still need to go back and get some supplies. So I'm definitely going to take advantage of this tax-free weekend and finish getting those supplies. I just finished buying uniforms yesterday, so I'm definitely benefiting from this weekend. There's so many things we're working on. Just wanted to make a plug on those 2 really great ones that we've done thus far. We have had 2 backed resource fairs while I've been in office. We're having our first job fair this next weekend. So if you have time to come, or if know anybody that is looking for a job, Texas Wesleyan next week from 10 to 2, right, Rachel? Saturday, August 17th. So for those that also don't know, I do have one district director here, Rachel Arellano. So if y'all can't ever get a hold of me, you can find Rachel. And then you can also find our information on the City of Fort Worth website. Of course, I do really need to stress the really great tool that we have with the City of Fort Worth, the My Fort Worth app. Even I use it, and if I report a pothole, it's usually fixed in 2 to 3 days. And graffiti, I've reported graffiti and they've gotten to it really quick. If you don't know what district you live in, you can go to oneaddress.com and you can type in your address, and then that website will tell you what district you live in, who your code officer is, who your NPO officer is. So if you're having issues with whatever code violation or some public safety issue in your neighborhood, that's a very good tool to use. Do I have time for questions?
Any questions for Jeanette? One question.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make sure I understood. I'm a member of the Worth Heights Neighborhood Association, and did you say that we will be getting our library back on both streets?
No, I said we're very close to making that final decision. Yes, ma'am. So I'm just waiting for the city manager to let me be able to share that. But there's still some logistical things that need to happen with Old City Hall or new library. So I've been really pushing it. I was hoping that I could say something by June, but I still don't know for sure.
Another question that somebody mentioned is where do you stand on the minimum wage for city employees?
Okay. So yes, we are pushing. We don't have a majority, but we are pushing for at least $20 increase for our minimum wage employees. And so really going to be working with our colleagues who right now aren't there yet. But we'll have those discussions, of course, next week. We have budget work sessions. Norma, you had a question?
Not a question. I just want to say I'd like to commend Councilwoman Martinez on the work that she does in District 11, but particularly for neighborhoods, communities that have never been spoken for or that nobody speaks up for them. So District 11, there's a section that's part of Southeast Fort Worth off of Miller Avenue, and believe me, everybody has forgotten about those communities, but it's refreshing to have a council member that speaks for those communities. And I have family that live there. I pass by there constantly on Miller Avenue. So I just thank you for being a voice for a community that for so long people have forgotten about. So thank you.
Thank you, Norma. I also lived in that neighborhood when I was at Texas Wesleyan, so I know the issues that it faces. So I just really want to help that community as much as possible. Yes, ma'am. One final question. Yes.
The city council is going to be deliberating the settlement of the lawsuit presented by the former chief of police, and I think the settlement is about $9.5 million. Have you already received that? Have you deliberated? And can you tell us what your position is on that?
Well, I think that, that is a legal issue, and I'm limited to what I could say, just because those discussions do happen in executive session, and I believe that is higher than what we agreed upon, so I don't know really what's going to happen there if that is something that we're going to agree to.
Rose, for final question?
Okay.
Yes.
There have been several constituents from different areas of town that for years have been pushing for the city to acknowledge the Cesar Chavez holiday. And it's kind of fallen on deaf ears. Would you be willing to take the lead on that and try to see if that can happen?
Definitely. Just because, I work for the county, we get 13 days off.
Yes.
But I still work because, the city, on the other days that we don't get off because, of course, city council. But I would definitely advocate for that. I know Richard was the champion for that, at least in the county. And so I would be very happy to champion that on the
Good.
city
I'll be in
side.
contact with your office.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, our next speaker is Cindy Stormer. She is running for office, and she is a past police, past everything on here, and current college professor for government legal assistant and criminal, former Dallas assistant DA, and former district attorney for juvenile district court 235. So Cindy, if you'd like to join us up here.
Thank you. Hola. Buenos días. Y te quiero mucho. We just endorsed Vice President Harris this morning. Made my day. I'm going to have a big smile on my face all day long. Wonderful. Thank you all for being here. And the big news is Ben Crump just filed a lawsuit last week here in Tarrant County. We knew he'd be here. That's the big George Floyd lawyer that won $27 million judgment against that county. He's filed a lawsuit saying that in the Tarrant County Jail, we are abusing people. They are dying of overdoses even though they've been in jail for months. How are the drugs getting in the jail? Did you hear about the woman that was just sentenced a few weeks ago to 10 years, a sheriff's employee for bringing drugs into the jail? Most of us hadn't heard about that. I didn't hear about it until I read Ben Crump's lawsuit. And that is the first time Star-Telegram reported on it, is after Ben Crump filed his lawsuit. And this happened over a year ago. So we've got the news media is not covering things like they should. And this lawsuit, it's going to cost Tarrant County citizens so much, but it's costing so much anyway that what we're suffering here. Go to Commissioner's Court, watch what's happening at Commissioner's Court the first and third Tuesdays. You can watch it on YouTube. And you have mothers coming in there telling these commissioners, Republican commissioners, because that's who's doing it, they call them out by name and they say, "You murdered my child." And they tell these horrible, tragic atrocities that their child was subjected to in the jail. And then Jair Campbell's mother came up recently. Her child had the mentality of an 8-year-old. He'd been kept in the jail for months. He wasn't supposed to be there. He was supposed to be in the hospital. And he was laying in his own excrement, had lost over 100 pounds. She came in and was begging the commissioners to send him to the correct facility because the sheriff wouldn't. And afterwards I heard her say, I listened to all those other mothers talking about what their children went through, and I realized that I was the lucky one. That shouldn't be happening here. This Ben Crump lawsuit, he lists 145 deaths on my webpage, my website, stormerfortexas.com, under the tab jail deaths. I list by name 67 that I know of that died in the jail, including baby Zenora, who lay between her mother's legs for 40 minutes while the deputies were stationed just 10 feet outside her jail cell, and that baby died. And we just got that case opened again just a couple of weeks ago. A federal judge reopened that case. This case was the largest settlement in Tarrant County history, $1.2 million. And if the case has been reopened, we're gonna get hit again. Why? Because Tarrant County officials handling that case withheld evidence in that case. And then we've got the Anthony Johnson case that's also mentioned in the News Ben Crump lawsuit. This is the United States Marine that was seeking mental health care. He ended up in the Tarrant County Jail and they murdered him there. The jailers murdered him there. The medical examiner has ruled that that was a homicide. He had pepper spray forced into his mouth. I used to be a police officer, and you're taught that when you appropriately apply pepper spray, you leave the person sitting up until they're able to breathe again. What did they do with Anthony Johnson after they forced pepper spray into his mouth? They handcuffed him behind his back, and there were about 10 of them that beat him down, and then one of the deputies that looks like he weighs about 300 pounds came up and pressed him to death. Medical examiner's report says either one of these actions would have caused his death. We are better than that here in Tarrant County. We have got to be better than that. And why is a lot of this happening? Because of the overcrowding in the jail. Because the judges aren't doing their jobs. So they did a study on this, and who did they select to do the study? Republican judges. And these Republican judges even had to admit that judges aren't showing up for work. Tim O'Hare admitted, and it's on the record, people are getting paid for 40 hours for doing 10 hours of work. But this recent study points out that the average time spent in the Tarrant County Jail is 70 days. Excuse me, the average sentence is 70 days. The average time spent is 133 days. They're spending twice as long in the Tarrant County Jail as what they're sentenced to because the judges won't do their jobs here. This is what happens when one party remains in control for over 30 years. Corruption. You want to see some corruption, and you can convince even the most hardcore Republican to vote Democrat this time. Go to my website and look under the tab, Republicans are wasting your money. Look at this lawsuit where we've had to pay for this dead baby. Look at the lawsuit for $1 million for Javante Myers because he laid in the jail cell dead for over 6 hours and rigor mortis set into his body. We paid $400,000 for Corey Rodriguez, who the jailers beat within an inch of his life and then hit him in the jail cell so that he would recover from his injuries before he got medical treatment. We're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for 3 full-time assistant DAs to be stationed at the hospital. Their full-time job is dealing with the medical claims out of the jail. We're paying $160+ for an election integrity attorney that's truly a voter suppression attorney. We have voter suppression units in the district attorney's office, 3 assistant DAs and an investigator assigned to that. How many cases have they tried? 0. And how many mentally ill people do we have in the jail? Over 2,000. And how many mental health attorneys do we have here in Tarrant County? And I know this because I was the chief of the mental health division in the Dallas DA's office. I've written a book on these mental health issues and what's wrong with the criminal justice system. They have 0 mental health attorneys in Tarrant County. And my opponent, just about 2 weeks ago, filed a motion, this district judge filed a motion to strip our juvenile justice system of $357,000 a year, which is their entire budget for mental rehab, for drug rehab. Studies have shown that for every tax dollar spent for that, 8 tax dollars are saved. This is what plays to their face. Strip the most vulnerable of everything that they desperately need. And what are they doing with our taxpayer dollars? $55 million that was supposed to go to homeless and children. Is our tax dollars sent to Washington They did studies, they sent it back. You got a serious problem in Tarrant County. You got 15,000 homeless children in Tarrant County. You need to do something about it. What did the Republicans on Commissioner's Court vote to do? Because they have the majority. They stripped all that money from the homeless and the children, once again, just like they took money from Girls Inc. and gave half of it to for-profit out-of-county prisons, and that should never exist. When I was an elected DA, I reduced the crime by 25% while cutting the jail population in half. And that's just by working.
Sorry, could you tell us why you're running for this role as?
Well, right now it's 145 reasons, because that's what Ben Crump listed in his lawsuit. I only have 67 names, but he says there's 145 that have died here under Sheriff Wayburn. Now, is it because Wayburn isn't counting people until he stuffs them in the ambulance? Withholding medical is a criminal offense. It's criminally negligent homicide. Or is it because some of these deaths are happening in other city jails or at the hands of other local law enforcement? Well, if that's the case, it goes back on Wayburn also, because he calls himself a constitutional sheriff. You don't know what that is? Read Project 2025. Y'all read it? Yeah. I'm posting on it every day. Follow me on Facebook, Cindy Stormer for Judge. This is some scary stuff. They're going to be building internment camps. Everybody that doesn't have an Anglo surname or that speaks with an accent better have paperwork with them if we don't get Harris elected.
Thank you, Miss.
Sorry.
Cindy.
I could talk all day. I'm so sorry. It's really tragic. I just want to say, please go to my website under the tab Get Involved and help any local candidate. This is one county where you can work. If you help local candidates, you are going to be saving lives. Like Carla Bjork is sitting back there. She's running for state rep, and she's working really hard. And that's the one that's most likely to flip to Tarrant County.
So
Thank you
now
for being here.
we're opening it up to questions from our candidate for district judge, Cindy Stormer. Do you have any questions in the audience? Manuel?
Yes, my name is Manuel Espino, and it says here that the county judge helps govern county government, safety protection, public transit, parks, hospitals. So, I don't know how much, like, as far as like the law, like criminalization of low-level marijuana, and then hospitals, obviously, wanting care for, preventative health care for the undocumented, but right now, I don't know if that's your scope or just a lot the board of JPS, but like parks in our area, and this is also Jeanette, we need more parks for soccer, for youth. We are underserved in that regard. So I don't know how much power you wield and how you can help with those two areas.
That's a very good question, and I have done a lot of training over the years to hundreds of judges, prosecutors, and defense attorneys, and the one sentence that I say to them over and over again, if we're just mad at them, we shouldn't be putting them in jail. We should be putting the people in jail that we're afraid of. It's just that simple. And these people that we're just mad at, there's so many ways you can punish them. You can put them on all kinds of probation, have all kinds of conditions of probation. And it serves the community, and you're not destroying lives and destroying families and making our community less safe. And when Tarrant County turns blue, Texas turns blue. And when Texas turns, and Biden won it, and Beto won it, we just got to get more people to vote down ballot. When Texas turns blue, you're not going to see another Republican president again for a long time.
Oh, and a correction, Ms. Stormer here is running for district judge for...
District Judge 213.
It's a judicial bench. She's going to hold court. Yeah, not county
Criminal
judge.
felony. It's
Yeah.
countywide. If you're in
Sí, está
Tarrant County.
corriendo para ser juez del distrito.
So that was my question. The district that you serve, like what community would you be serving? And currently, who is the judge that is in place right now?
Tarrant County, all of Tarrant County. My name will be on your ballot if you live in Tarrant County. The person's name is Chris Wolf. He's an Abbott appointee, Federalist Society. If you don't know what that is, look it up, or just read Project 2025. And he's the one that stripped the youth of their money.
And you say you're an elected DA. What year were you elected
2004.
Thank you, Ms. Cindy.
And for several years after that. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
And next on our agenda is Dora Tovar. She's leading a community engagement team for Meet Northside. She owns her own public relations firm, and she's also an HWT member. Yes, so we're welcoming, and she's also going to be speaking in our state conference if everybody hasn't signed up.
Thank you. Good morning. How many of you are familiar with the development that is being discussed in Panther Island? A little bit. So, thanks to the leadership of Annette Landeros at the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber, there has been an initiative to put a team together to talk to communities, especially Latino communities, about the growth that is going to be happening in the stockyards and in Panther Island, and the potential impact it's going to have on our culture, on our history here in the North Side. So it's an effort to listen to the community about what makes North Side important to us. And this is a really important initiative, one, because it has the potential to be a template for other Latino communities in the United States. And we're going to spend the month of August listening, and you have some flyers on the table about the locations and the times, and we really want our community to show up, to talk about what we love about the North Side, which is why we called it Me North Side. We want to know and document how to protect our communities in the midst of growth and gentrification, not just about the property values, but the green space, the parks, everything that is involved in our communities. So it's super important that if you are able to participate at one of these events, that you do so that we can document why we love the North Side. There's also going to be the potential of additional public funds allocated. This effort will produce a report that goes to the Urban Land Institute, which is a national nonprofit that helps communities advocate for preservation of their communities. It just so happens that former Secretary Henry Cisneros chairs this panel to protect Texas communities. And of all the communities in Texas, they have selected the North Side here in Fort Worth. So it really is a privilege to be involved with it. I am one of 5 people on a team of getting the word out to the community, to your neighbors, to people who we never hear from because the city or the county has previously asked them their opinion and didn't do anything or didn't come back and tell them, thank you, here's what we did. And so we are confronting disappointment, but we also see this as a great opportunity to give voice to our community, to protect Main Street, to making sure that small businesses in Northside have an opportunity to have access to property development on Panther Island. And a lot of folks think, oh, this isn't going to happen for 4 or 5 years. If we don't get involved, it's going to happen and we're not going to be a part of it. So that's all I want to say. If you have more questions, come talk to me. Our flyer right there has the date. Tell your older neighbors who think that they're just going to leave their house to their son or daughter and it's their problem. We all need to be involved in that discussion as a community to protect the wonderful treasure that is the north side. Gracias. Oh, Norma?
The dates on there are 7, 8, 8, so those dates have passed.
There's another one that's, you got a one-sided one, but there's another one next Saturday, the 17th, and then we're gonna post other dates, repeat those same ones for the following week.
Would this be posted on social media?
Yes, so that is going on social media, so we'll share it, and we'll share it with all of the LULAC chapters as well. Gracias.
Thank you.
I just wanted to address a question Manny asked about youth programs, and so I really am pushing for those, especially with parks. We don't have an indoor soccer, at least city-owned indoor soccer field, so that's something I would really want to see during my tenure, and of course, really pushing for a swimming pool. Gateway Park is getting a lot of improvements done. Now they're going to open the west side of Gateway Park. If anybody knows where Gateway Park is, off of Beach and 30, so it's almost 900 acres. It's our largest metropolitan park within the city of Fort Worth, and it's really great. There's soccer fields, there's softball fields, there's trails, and you know, we have a big active biking community that's there, and then frisbee golf, I think, is the sport. So I think that's one of the few places within the area where you can go play that sport. But really pushing for more youth programming within the city board, and very intentional on who I pick for boards, like for CCPD, for that funding that goes to those type of youth programs. And also there are periodically open positions for different boards and commissions with District 11. So if you're ever interested, right now they're all full, but if you're ever interested in serving on a board, just reach out to my office and we'll put you on the list for consideration. And Richard, you did say 9.6 million for Chief Fitzgerald, but it's 3 individuals that would get that settlement, and then the council did agree on that settlement for those 3. So the 9.6 wouldn't go all to Chief Fitzgerald. It would go to those 3 employees in that settlement. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jeanette, for that clarification and additional information. Now we have Estela Martinez-Stewart from Visita Fort Worth, and she's also representing the Fiestas Patrias Committee. She's going to be telling us about what's going to be happening next month.
Well, good morning, buenos días a todos, ¿cómo están? Well, we're almost 1 month to Hispanic Heritage, and we need the help of all of you to make sure that we pay forward full of color, and that we participate, and that the city sees us everywhere. Que nos vean por todos lados. We've been working very hard to make sure that places that before maybe weren't doing a lot of Hispanic things, like our neighbors and stalkers, you know, this is now going to be the 4th year that we have the Fiestas Patrias Parade and the Charro celebration. We're very excited. Last year we almost reached 5,000 people that came to see that event. We now have Telemundo NBC5 that they call us in January saying, hey, we want to be a part of it, because they're seeing how the community is coming. I want to share with you the changes that are happening because of events like this. The Stalkers now has 4 times a year a Mexican themed event in Cowtown Coliseum. 4 times a year. We didn't used to have any. Now, every Sunday, because they see so many Hispanics on Sundays in the Stalkers, now they added programming to Cowtown Coliseum. It's called the Ultimate Bullfighters. So it's a bullfighter that they fight against a Mexican toro, like the ones you see in the, you know, more like the Mexican style toros. But the important thing is because they're seeing an increase on visitation from local Hispanics. When Sunday, you know, after the afternoon, it was kind of quiet in the Stalkers, they are adding programming. And that is helping us to make sure that they see the value on us. You know, somebody said one time, well, the only color I see is green. And believe me, that works. Why? Because when a lot of people come to events like our Fiestas Patrias Parade, we're going to have the Consul General, we're going to have Janet, we're going to have a lot of different city managers, district managers, and they celebrate with us. It's not just for Hispanics, this is a celebration for everyone. We want them to celebrate what is unique about our Hispanic heritage. When people do that, you know, they start seeing us more. They start realizing that we're here, we're not going anywhere, and we keep on growing, and our schools are full of our kids. So we invite all of you to please save the date, help us promote, be present. If you want to participate in the parade, you just have to register. We're going to have charros, escaramuzas. There's a lot of people that, believe me, they're getting together now to think, what are they going to do? What performances their dance groups are going to do? How are they going to decorate their float? We do it in an area that, you know, the Stockyards is now paying for closing the street, for the police, for the DJ. These are things that come out of their budget, not ours. We started paying for some of that, now they pay for it. So now we have a committee, great ladies around here that are part of the Fiestas Patrias committee that are helping us. We want to decorate the Stockyards. It's only Sunday, but imagine how cool would it be if you go in. Right now you're hearing music in Spanish, you're seeing charros, escaramuzas, all that amazing Hispanic heritage. But now we want to go a little bit further. We want to decorate the poles. We want to make it look better and better, and we need the help of everybody. So please be aware that's the start of Hispanic Heritage. There's going to be events literally from September 14 to November 2nd that are Hispanic themed. If anybody has friends that are Latin American, the Botanic Garden is going to have the Latin American Flag Parade. They're open their doors for free on Saturday, September 14, and you can register if you're from Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico. We're going to have the parade of flags. We're going to put every single national anthem from Latin America. We're going to have food trucks, Latin music, Salsa in the Garden is going to be performing. So please attend, it's free. Help us show up, because that way people are going to be doing more things. The Botanic Garden has a whole month of Celebramos activities. So another important thing, September 17 is the date that right now they gave us to honor Hispanic heritage at City Council. So at 6 o'clock, September 17, we're going to have an opportunity to be at City Council, do a little bit of a presentation about how beautiful our Hispanic culture is. So if you want to be a part of that, you can attend. You know, we get a short amount of time, but please help us and participate. Look at Visit Forward Hispanic Heritage, and you're going to see an array of events all over the city. And if you have an event, you can register on their calendar of events and just put, this is my event, and tag it Hispanic Heritage. So please, everybody, help us be seen. And we're going to have things from the Stockyards that same day, September 15. We go in the morning to the Stockyards, and then in the afternoon we go to La Gran Plaza, because the official grito of independence is going to be at La Gran Plaza at 4 o'clock. So please celebrate. Let's get everybody together. There's tons of events, tequilas and margarita, michelada festival, lots of activities. So I just want to thank you for your time and encourage you to get involved, participate, and show up. Thank you.
Any questions for Estela?
I want to hear about Cinco in the District. How successful was the very first Cinco in the District?
Okay, I have to say I owe it to no, your neighbor, what's? Emerico. I have to say, Emerico told me one time, oh, I see you doing a lot of things for Hispanic heritage and a lot of Mexican things and stuff like that. It's like, what are you going to do for the Tejanos? So when I had the opportunity to see that 3 museums in the cultural district the Cowgirl, the Museum of Science and History, and the Community Arts Center. At the same time, they had a Hispanic exhibit. Funny enough, they didn't know that each other were having a Hispanic exhibit. I approached them and I told them, what a coincidence. You three have the Hispanic exhibit on Cinco de Mayo, that is this Sunday, the perfect day for us to celebrate. Would it be wonderful to have a Cinco de Mayo in the district? Well, we counted with the support of several people in the audience that participated in our committee. I have to be honest with you, we didn't have a lot of budget, it was like almost zero. But with the help of all the community, we were able to bring almost 5,000 people to the cultural district. We got help. I mean, just imagine, Dickey's Arena gave us 2 parking lots for free. We didn't ask. They were part of our group and they said, hey, we want to contribute. We want to be a part of this. We'll give you 2 parking lots. The museums, they say, we don't have money budgeted, but we'll do admission for free. We had the amazing lowriders, and I have to say they were a superstar of the show. They brought cars from Kansas, Oklahoma, Houston, and lined the street. We had our Tejano music that performed and closed the street. I have to tell you, the police was happy. The museums were super happy. Everybody enjoyed the camaraderie. I love seeing a lot of the lowrider families going together to the museum and seeing the exhibits. It was really beautiful, so it was very successful. And just so you know, next year it falls on the 4th of May. The museums want to do it again, but this time they want to open it to the other museums. So it's really going to be a Cinco de Mayo in the district. All the museums in our cultural district will be celebrating Cinco de Mayo. So please get involved. Several people here are part of it, because we're going to take over the cultural district. And just so you know, at that time there's also Mayfest. Is it Mayfest? That is a beautiful event, but they were full, we were full. So help us make it fun. Hispanic Heritage is a way to start. Cinco in the district will be another great celebration all over the cultural district with our traditions. And this time is to honor Tejano music, and everybody else. Thanks.
Thank you, Estela, for coming in and giving us this information. Now we have our final addition. Dr. Charlie Garcia is the area superintendent for Forward ISD, and he has some announcements.
Thank you very much. Buenos días, good morning again. Al principio quiero dar las gracias por la invitación. Thank you very much for the invitation, Mr. Carrillo. It is an absolute pleasure to speak to such a powerful and impactful group of Hispanic, Latino supporters. As a Latino myself, I certainly understand the power of our community. Real quick bio about myself. I was here about a year ago because this is my first true year in Fort Worth ISD. So give me a little round of applause for making it a year. But a funny story, I was at this restaurant now that I remember speaking to you all. And I told you guys, you may not remember, that I was working on my doctorate degree. I told you a story about my abuelita, Teresa, who would give me the advice and counsel, just like you all give your kids. She would tell me, enderezate, Cali, enderezate. Straighten up, be proudful. Well, 4 months ago, I graduated from University of Texas at Austin with my doctorate. I grew up in El Paso, 3 miles from the border. Spanish is my first language. En principio hablaba español muy bien, ahora hablo inglés muy bien, pero I learned that education is a game changer, is a gatekeeper for our kids. I can speak, and I will talk a little bit about Fort Worth ISD, but I also want to recognize our students that are working with LULAC and promoting the opportunities that our Hispanic, Latino kids can get in education. Can you stand up, students, from representing our LULAC council, and our district. Thank you for being here. Ms. Garcia, Maria Garcia, muchas gracias for promoting this. We are looking for ways to incorporate more of the support that LULAC gives to ensure that our high school students, middle school students are afforded those opportunities, and they're able to be at these events so they can learn not only how to impact the community, but how to impact themselves. A couple of highlights about Fort Worth ISD that I'm very proud of. Last year I got to spend a lot of time in the north side, and one of the schools that was under my responsibility last year was north side. They made great gains in academics. And so I really want to give a shout out to Northside. Their algebra scores were one of the tops in the district. Over 90% graduation rate. And as a district, we have an over 90% graduation rate, which is stellar, very important. And even more, I think, powerful than that is our college readiness. 3 years ago, we were at 59%. We're close to 83% in our college and career readiness. So please give our teachers a round of applause in the district. In addition to those accolades and really the celebrations, our commitment continues to be our kids, our students, and the academic success that we need to promote. We need to accelerate their academics because we want them being up here, not me, but them, being able to articulate a point of view, articulate a game plan, articulate what strategy we're going to put in place, and being able to do that in a confident manner. The only way they can do that, they need to know how to read very well, write very well, and also speak very well. Providing our students with an opportunity to say, I disagree. However, do that in a way that is still responsible and I call it this: do you want to be right or do you want to be effective? And if we disagree, we still want to be effective. You can still walk away and say, we disagree, but we're going to be okay. We need to teach that to our kids, and the way to get it is through education. And so we're working very hard to continue to push in to the academic success of our kids. In the year that I've been here, I've seen a lot of growth. I do know that there's a level of, wondering that we want to move it quickly. I get that, but as you know, in anything in life, we have to understand that we have to ensure that we set the right game plan in place. And then throughout time, throughout the right work, those results are going to get there. We're seeing them, and you'll hear about those sooner than later. I also want to let you know that today, one of my executive directors is here. We have an event, and thank you for inviting me. I would have brought more information, but I got the invitation yesterday, and I told Mr. Carrillo, ustedes son familia, so I'm going to be here and represent. We've got a great event this morning. Starts at 11, goes all the way to 12 at the Grand Plaza. We're going to be registering our kids, our families to the new schools, welcoming them back. We're going to have books for our kids that we can offer. This year, we're going to continue with giving free supplies to our elementary schools. Kiddos, can you give that a round of applause? Because I think providing supplies to our kids is very, very important for us. And with that being said, the work continues every single day. Just like my abuelita would tell me, enderezate. What we need is to work together to ensure that our kids, we're promoting the best access to our kids. And I will tell you, what I do know is that our Hispanic Latino community, we are strong as a community. And we have a strong background. We understand the realities that we have in front of us, and we're not afraid of being able to tackle any obstacle that may be presented to us. And so Teresa was right. Enderezate, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to move forward with pride and commitment and strategy, and we look forward to a lot of continued success as we move forward as a district. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate you guys. My LULAC kids, thank you very much. And we have a commitment that we're going to be adding LULAC counselors to more of our schools. So So we just had a meeting 2 weeks ago with some of our area high schools, and so it's coming. So get ready. Students, great job. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We have a question over there. Richard?
Okay, well, I really enjoyed all the positive comments that you have made. It shows a real optimistic attitude that we need, of course, in this district. But I'm going to give you some of the reality that I've read in the newspaper based on statistical scores that were released. And what I've read is that the STAR testing showed that across the board in the school district, 34% were on level. That's what I've read, which of course means that 66% are not on level. And the third grade reading, which is very critical because you need to learn to read by that level. Of course, the STAR testing again reflected 33% of the students were on level, which means again 67% of the students are not on level, on reading level. Now, I appreciate all the positive comments. We certainly need that enthusiasm in the classroom. But based on those facts, I'm not making this up, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but we need to face the reality. It appears that our students, especially the Chicanitos and the Latino students, are not able to read and do math adequately currently in 2024. What are we doing to address those really critical issues? You talked about this taking time. I've lived here over 50 years. During those 50 years, I've heard the same results. When is it going to get better?
Richard asked a great question. Did you hear him back there? Richard was asking about state assessment scores coming out and us being underperforming. To quote you, we're in the mid-30s in reading, and that's not good enough. I will answer that question with a couple of things, and I'll tell you exactly how we're addressing that big hurdle that we have in front of us. As a 22 years experience in education, I certainly understand the state assessment is a part of our reality. But I also understand that there's other levels of execution for our kids. Not to answer that question, but what I'm saying is that STAR testing is one sit down and one way to analyze how our kids are doing. Second, timing is a factor. You're absolutely right. I think historically, when we look at our results, we need to do better. When you compare, and I'm not going to compare ourselves because I don't have the data in front of us, to other large urbans, our last year, you will see in the future when we start doing those comparisons, that we will see that we actually did relatively well in comparison to a Dallas ISD, Austin ISD, as far as closing the gaps. So there is progress despite that score. I won't sit up here and tell you where we need to be because we're not. What we have implemented this year to address that, because I have had the opportunity to turn around a school. I had the opportunity to do that twice. As a matter of fact, when I was a middle school principal, we were underperforming, and we were able to turn it around in a quicker than anticipated. We did so well at that school, Camino Real Middle School, 5 miles from the border. It's that independent school district. We hit every distinction that the state can give you, and we were outperforming some of the most affluent community schools in El Paso. The way we did it is we pushed into our teachers and we promoted what's called the instructional court. We insulated the time and we lifted those teachers up. My second time I did it at Ballard High School, same thing. If you look at the scores that I represented at Ballard High School, you will see that we achieved some of the highest scores in the state. As a matter of fact, with our last letter grade, we were almost an A, one of the only A comprehensive high schools in the region. The reason I tell you that is not to toot my own horn, but it's possible to do it. And the way that we do it is to be pushed into our teachers. And so what we've done through the support of the school board, the board of trustees, is we have reimagined our calendar. And so we have addressed an additional layer of support for our teachers to include instructional planning. That means that we have 5 additional planning days throughout the year. Now, you may be thinking 5 is not a lot, We haven't had those days before. This year, our teachers are going to have those days. And what that means is they're able to sit down together, collaborate, and work on what we need to push into is the four corners of a classroom. How are our kids learning? What are they learning? And if it is the STAR assessment that we're tested on, we need to understand the standards alignment. We understand the scope and sequence and how it's being taught. That is one strategy that we're using. In addition to that, we are, through the leadership of Dr. Ramsey, we have been able to insulate the work of myself and other area superintendents so that we can be directly involved more so with our schools. So we're going to be spending more quality time on those campuses because, to your point, we have to accelerate the learning, and we don't have 15 years to do that. And so we get the frustration, and you have my word, our word, that we're energetic to get those scores around and accelerate that learning. Just at Camino Real Middle School and Bel Air, I answered very similar questions. At the end of the day, effort's good, right? Results are even better. And so that's what we need to work on. What I will leave with you guys is the support that we need, the mutual compact that we have with our community, and we're afforded a lot of support from the community, and we're going to continue to lean on the support from the community to support us, because we also understand that when a negative media outlet comes out, it's not always the full truth of what's going on. And we're talking about our kids and our teachers that are doing the work, right? And so good question, very tough question, but I appreciate you answered. Richard?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
question back in the back.
Can I see?
So, recommendation, because I am from the community. One thing that I don't see is the parents. There was the family, the way I got my daughter to graduate and go to university, is that I was educated myself to get them into knowing the school system, that I was aware that this was involved in. I don't see that happening as like I would have liked to see it, but as the family, as the Hispanic community, if we let the parents know what is expected and what to help their kids with, they'll do it. And also having more bilingual, like Spanish. It doesn't matter. My mother didn't know one word of English, but all of hers have university graduates. And it's because they told her she mattered. So I think it's really 23.
Yeah, you can hear her back there. She's hit it right on the nail. Community involvement and support is critical. And really the tip of the spear there is our principals working with the community, because they are really the anchor of that community. Being able to promote a team effort, collaboration, and being informative. You're absolutely right. I think, did we have a question over here? Or a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to.
School Board President, Dr. Rodriguez.
I wanted to follow up on Richard's question. During the past few weeks, I've received a lot of articles and a lot of graphs, and one that really hit me was that since 2012 to 2024, we have been stagnant as a school district, and that's been 4 superintendents and 2 interims. So now we hired Dr. Ramsey, who is innovative, bilingual, Latina, and she is doing things that needed to be done years ago. A strategic plan, if the board ever decides to pass that, is being implemented. Our 5-year strategic plan for the whole community, for the students, for the teachers, so we're all on the same playing field. And also, facilities master plan, a 10-year survey of all school facilities. So we don't, in the past, we haven't had one since 2007. And that's hurting our kids, because we weren't able to sufficiently provide what the students needed in every classroom. So Dr. Ramsey is doing it. We need to support her, because she is making changes that some people do not like, because the status quo is not working because it's hurting our kids. So thank you for that question, and all the articles I've received, it's very eye-opening, but Dr. Ramsey is doing the job, and her staff.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. Norma, final question.
I like what everyone has said. Richard, thank you for raising that question because it is important. As ISD for several years, involved in some of these schools. Y'all know the majority of our student population is Latino. So that does affect our community, our kids. But my concern has always been the parent engagement. I appreciate her raising that point, is that how Forward ISD is trying to get the parents involved, especially our Latino immigrant parents, because it's sometimes our parents are not engaged, and sometimes our schools don't represent our student population, which is another issue, another problem. I would like to know that O.D. Wyatt High School in Southeast Fort Worth just got they're going on their year with their first Latino principal, and the improvement of parent engagement has increased. It made a world of change. So that also is so important, and that's something that I've always advocated at Forward ISD, that our Latino representation is needed in our schools, because if our teachers cannot communicate with our parents of what's going on with their child, about the reading scores, math scores, and everything, there is a big gap. It does affect how our kids perform in their tests and everything. So that's one concern. I mean, that's something that we need to improve on, parent engagement. The representation in our schools, making sure that our parents are being notified. That, test scores, let's be very blunt and honest with our parents. This is what's going on. But it can't happen when we have teachers that don't want to communicate or are hesitant. And I've seen it. I've seen principals that are very hesitant to communicate with our parents because they don't know how, or they don't want to, or they're just lazy about it, and they want to use Google Translate. So that does happen. So it's important for parents to be involved. And as for the board, our board, yes, if they're doing the job, they need to keep doing the job. And we also need to be aware that our administrative system in Forward ISD needs to come out also and get help from community leaders. Don't rely on the same people. You need people that are boots on the ground, that know what's going on in the community, that are doing the work in education, that are volunteering in the school. You can't just rely on certain status quo community leaders, because they don't know what's going on in the schools. They don't know what the parents and teachers are going through in students. And another point, the board needs to speak up, be more vocal, stand on the issues that affect Latino communities. I do have, just recently this spring, they did pass sex education curriculum, which none of it was in Spanish, none of it was translated for our Latino community at all. Nobody on the board spoke about it. Nobody raised a question about it. And it was passed. None of our parents knew or what's going on with our sexual education.
Thank you, Norma.
So we need to be more vocal about it.
For those of you that don't know my story, I'm one of the first undocumented students admitted at Forward ISD back, I won't say the date, back in the day. So I've been here a minute, I've been involved in very pro-public education and a product of Forward ISD. And I am a testament that test scores don't make the students. I have 2 degrees. I'm on 50 billion boards because of my math skills. So people talk about scores. I was not a good score tester. I did not score very well. I am one of the top, was the top student at Trimble Tech High School, but I did not like tests. I hated tests. I showed up, I did it, but so if people are looking at test scores, it doesn't equate to leadership. It doesn't equate to whether you're going to succeed. That's what I tell my people I represent. Because I do represent a lot of local boards that are very pro-public education, and I am making it out there that I am against vouchers because they will kill our students, our Latino community. So I appreciate everybody coming in, and we do have comments. Do we have any announcements?
All I want to say is that there's no illegals on stolen land.
Thank you.
That you're not true. We're all here, and everybody counts. And she was right, we need a lot of Hispanic teachers, Latino teachers, that speak bilingual, so they can help the Hispanics and children grow. There's going to be more Hispanics coming, more, and we're going to grow.
Thank
And
you.
they're part of us, and we're part of them. So it's our duty as Latinos, speaking Spanish and English, to help our community and help our business.
Thank you, appreciate it. Any other community announcements?
So, I'm also a product of Fortnite. And, when I was going to school, there weren't any teachers that looked like me. But I do want to recognize.
Can we have respect for the speakers, please?
I want to recognize, I don't know, you probably don't remember me. I was at Elder Middle School here, and for some reason, I was a good student. But you invited a group of students to go eat at the Mexican cafe. I don't know if you remember. Okay, I was one of those students, and because of that, I felt that I could, and I did. So, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Sal Carrillo. I'm the District Director of LULAC District 21. Today provided an excellent opportunity for what we're about to do. Like I said, thank you everyone for coming. I would like to thank Richard, Dr. Garcia, and Jeanette for supporting the Youth Council 1162. And there were some delays to what I was going to do earlier in the month, but again, that delay turned into a great opportunity to congratulate and award a product of Fort Worth, specifically a product, a young woman, a Young Women's Leadership Academy. She is the recipient of District 21 and LULAC National Scholarship Award. I'll hear the teacher to present it.
Okay, well, so as you know, this is our first LULAC chapter in Fort Worth. Dayanara was our first president of LULAC, and she did a great job. And so I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of her. She was a great leader, and she's going away.
I am going to Wesley College, a women's liberal arts college at Massachusetts.
So I'm pretty sure she's going to be a leader in our community in the future, and we're very proud of you, Dayanara. We wish you the best, and you deserve this.
I'd actually like to ask the other students and the mom as well. Come up here. Come on. Are y'all parents? Come on. We hope to provide more of these scholarships to more students here, to more counselors here. Like Dr. Garcia said, we're hoping to expand to other schools. And
hopefully this time next year, we have several scholarship winners from several of the schools here.
I just want to say that I'm super grateful and thankful for everyone who helped me through my journey, especially in high school and especially in Ms. Garcia. I definitely think that my time in LULAC at Young Women's really helped me excel helped me become the leader and person I am today. So I just want to be thankful, Ms. Garcia, for helping me through my journey, and all my girlies, thank you guys. But yeah, super thankful, thank you.
Any other community announcements? We'd like to go ahead and bring up Mia. I have one little thing. So, Mia is one of our college prep program participants for the Hispanic Women's Network of Texas 4th chapter. And Katie, who else? So, I am, for those of us don't know, I am leading the fundraising effort, the sponsorships for our Dia de los Muertos Gala. So obviously we have 76 students from over 30 high schools represented. So if anybody would like to have a sponsorship, a table, or have silent auction items, we have to raise a lot of money. And for all the 76 students, to make sure we send them have a good route to college, have a good start. And these are two of our ladies that just started the program last week. So if you know anybody, any company out there that wants to get with me afterwards or contact me directly, we need sponsorships and silent auction items. So thank you very much, and I hope
Please donate, please.
she wants to go to college. And she's like her Dia, mom over there, Norma, so.
The one that was talking a lot? Yeah.
Yeah, so, we Dias, we are very involved with the Fort Worth ISD, so, in public education. So we're raising money for all these young ladies. So, and I'm also on the board of YWLA, so they will also have an event, so, yeah.
Thank you so much. My name is Gabe Rivas. I'm the Community Outreach Director for Commissioner Lisa Simmons. We heard earlier today a lot of the issues from Cindy Stormer about what's going on in Tarrant County, and everything needs to be changed. One of the smaller ones that may be coming up, but it's still significant to our community, is that we've got to work through some of the HR that we're coming up with the approval of holiday schedules. And one of the holidays that Tarrant County, unique among all the counties and other local governments, has recognized Cesar Chavez Day for several years. Richard would be one of the ones that helped get that started. How long has Tarrant County recognized Cesar Chavez Day?
Since 2001.
Since 2001. And our current Commissioner's Court, some of the members would rather get rid of Cesar Chavez Day in honor of Veterans Day. It's the one that's not recognized. Commissioner Simmons in our office and other people have said we can recognize veterans without taking away Cesar Chavez Day. So we're going to continue to push for keeping Cesar Chavez Day on the calendar, keeping that recognition. I know Fort Worth ISD has joined in, having a special day for Cesar Chavez and Rota Suelta for recognition and a day of service. And so we'll keep y'all updated. If we need y'all to come down to court and speak in favor of Cesar Chavez Day, we'll be reaching out to everybody as well. That was on your radar. Thank you.
Of course, that lady that invited me over here.
May I suggest that everyone here, it's my understanding that Manny, is it Ramirez's last name? He's the one that is pushing forward to remove the Cesar Chavez holiday and put Veterans Day in its place. So I would suggest that everybody start contacting him, calling him and emailing him and telling him that you were against that. Thank you.
Rose Herrera, prior Fort Worth ISD Board Trustee, mentioned that Commissioner Manny Ramirez is putting forward a motion to remove the Cesar Chavez holiday. So if you want to start a contact, comments, emails to Commissioner's Court, contact Commissioner Manny Ramirez.
He represents this area, Commissioner Manny Ramirez. He represents this area, and that is a disgrace. He also took funding away from Latina girls that he serves in this community. He is not for our community. He may have the name, but he does not represent us. Because when you take out money and you do these things about Cesar Chavez that also reflect his culture, is a disgrace. He does not represent us, and I don't care what people think because he's in law enforcement, he does not represent us.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you for attending today. Great session. Looking forward to seeing you next month. And thank you to the opportunity to represent everybody. Have a great afternoon and great rest of your day.